Hello, everybody, and welcome to Every Bird Ranked. We are on a project. We're on a mission. We're working our way through every single bird order, every living bird order in the entire world. And we are looking at 5 different attributes and ranking from top to bottom. There's 44 different bird groups that we're working through. You ready to go, Backyard Expeditions?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Let's get going. Our next bird group, I think it's called Coliformes. What do you think?
We'll go with that.
Yes!
If we're wrong, we'll be told in the comments.
Yeah, that's true. There was somebody who said the fastest way to learn something is to say it wrong on the internet, and then people will find you and correct you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge to those of you who are willing to teach us, because we enjoy learning too. We don't know everything. And yet here we are, ranking every bird. The Coliformes are the Mousebirds. There are 6 species, and they are all Mousebirds. Mousebirds are a small order of birds, the last survivors of a widespread group of birds that used to range across Europe and North America. They are small social birds with fuzzy feathers, which is where the name Mousebird comes from. Look at those fuzzy feathers. Mousebirds have fully reversible back toes, so they can transform their feet to have 2, 3, or all 4 toes pointed forwards. These transforming feet let them climb, run, or hang as needed in their quest for berries and fruit. Are these birds diverse?
We have 6 species, all different variations of mousebirds, yeah.
Yeah, not diverse. Are they famous?
I don't think so. I know what they are because a local zoo had them. And it's like, oh, what is that bird?
Yeah. They're adorable once you do know about them, but I don't think most people know about them.
Yeah.
Are they amazing?
I think I hadn't really heard about how adaptable the little feet are, so that's like really cool.
Yeah. I constructed all these different types of bird feet out of pipe cleaners, and I made a video about it, and I'm going to link it here so you can watch it if you want to. Yeah, so they're amazing. Let's give them the amazing star for that, for their transformable, adaptable feet. Are the birds intriguing?
I was interested as a kid, and that does make me just wonder more about the adaptations and evolution of bird feet because they have such a distinctive foot structure. And the other thing that's kind of interesting is they're like super social, which is always like an interesting, like a hypersocial bird is always sort of an interesting aspect to me. There's a couple birds that are like these cool super social birds.
Being social is usually associated with intelligence. So do you think these birds are like geniuses and nobody knows about it?
They probably are smarter than if you looked at them, probably they sound basically like parrots, have like all the same like things going for them that like a parrot would have, and parrots are famous for their intelligence. You know, maybe there is something more there. There's probably definitely some interesting grooming studies that can be done.
Okay.
So maybe there's some interesting stuff that could be done in working with mousebirds.
Yeah. I also want to know why, because this group used to be spread out across Europe, Africa, and North America. And it's completely gone extinct except for these 6 species. And I want to know why these ones in particular are like the most adaptable or survivable out of that entire group of birds.
It's probably something to do with just sort of the Ice Age, where during the Ice Age, a lot of species that are exclusive and groups that are basically exclusive to Africa were found throughout the whole Arctic. Hyenas used to range all the way to Siberia, and lions used to be in North America as well. So
wow. So they happen to live further south than everyone else, so they win?
Yeah, I have a video coming out on the tropics. The whole first part is just explaining why the tropics have so many species. And one of the main theories is that the tropics haven't changed in any sort of major way for a long time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The oldest forests in the world, like in Borneo, and they were forests when when dinosaurs lived there, and they haven't not been forests for hundreds of millions of years.
Okay, so and then the northern latitudes kind of got scoured out by glaciers.
Yeah, they were literally covered in ice on and off for the last like 2 million years.
Yeah, that'll cut down on your diversity. Well, we've got a couple different reasons why they're intriguing, and I think we can safely give them the intriguing star. Are these birds beautiful?
They're cute.
Yes, yeah, 100%. They are very cute. In real life, too, they're very, very cute.
That's about all I can say. They're not.
They're brown, they're fuzzy.
There are birds that pull off sort of the really basic color that I think are pretty, but I don't think they're one of those groups.
Okay. They can be super cute, but not beautiful. Those are two different words in the English language. They mean different things, and I think they are not beautiful, and that's okay. If there was a cute star, they would get the cute star. Well, let's move on to our next group, Musophagiformes.
So what is muso? Because phagi would mean eating.
Yeah, muso is a plantain or a banana.
Oh, right, yes.
Let's say Musophagiformes are the Turacos. There's 23 different species, and all of them are Turacos. Turacos are one of the 3 bird orders that are found only in Africa, the other 2 being the cuckoo rollers and mousebirds we just talked about. Turacos are fruit-eating birds that don't usually fly long distances. Instead, they run and jump from one branch to another. Turacos make not 1, but 2 completely unique pigments that give them vivid magenta wing feathers and make them the only truly green birds in the entire world. Oh, and juveniles have wing claws that help them climb in trees. Let's start with diversity. Are these birds diverse?
So we have 23 species.
Mm-hmm. And they're all Turacos.
The base of basically Turacos. There are those 3 go-away birds, but that's not really what I would go with diverse.
Yeah, I would not diverse. I forgot about the go-away birds. That's true. They are in there too. Are these birds famous?
I doubt that they are. I don't know.
I can safely say that these birds are not famous. I talk about structural color on a regular basis, and Turacos are unique because they don't use structural color to make their green feathers. Nobody knows what I'm talking about when I say Turacos have green feathers. So, not famous. Amazing, though. Hey, speaking of which, let's talk about green feathers. Turacos, if we zoom in really, really close, like with a microscope, we would be able to see these birds have actual molecules in their feathers that are green. And this is super unusual in birds. The pigment is called turacoverdin, and it's a porphyrin, which is like a protein with a metallic ion core. And in this case, it is in such a way that it absorbs every kind of light except for green, which it reflects. That is why these birds are green. There's not actually a green chemical in any green feather in the world except for Turacos. Now you know what I'm talking about when I say that. And if we went over here to the wings, we would see a different pigment. This one is also a porphyrin with a copper ion in the middle of it. It's called tyrosine, and it is how Turacos got their name. And it reflects this really bright, vivid magenta color. I have spent a lot of time talking about Turacos, if you can't tell. And that's just their feathers. Like, we haven't even gotten to the actual bird yet. Coming from the outside, we got stuck on the feathers for like a minute, and that's already amazing. So
and intriguing.
Definitely give the amazing star for the pigments, but I can also tell you why it's intriguing. So intriguing because copper is generally a very scarce element in diets. And so most birds don't have enough copper to spare, so that when they're growing feathers, they can just randomly throw some copper ions into their porphyrins and make colorful pigments, which is why this bird is so unusual in having green pigments that are porphyrins. There are a few theories as to why Turacos might have more copper than other areas of the world. One is that they eat fruit primarily, so there might be more copper just in their diets based on the types of fruit that they choose to eat. Also, there's a theory that there's more copper in the soil in parts of Africa where they live, and so there's just more copper available to the plants that they're eating, and therefore more copper available to them.
Because that is one of the things. That's also a thing about rainforest birds in particular, is metallic ions are so rare. That's why you get iron storage disease in toucans, is that there just isn't iron in the environment. So they grab onto any iron. So it's interesting. I wonder if there's a copper storage disease on Turacos that is this rare thing that happens. What's interesting is West African rainforests in particular. The African rainforests are really mineral rich. Mm-hmm. They're like famous for their mineral richness.
Okay, so that there might be some truth to that. I think we both agree this is an intriguing thing all by itself. Again, I want to say, we didn't even get past the feathers, like going out towards this towards the center of the bird. We didn't get past the feathers, and we gave them 2 stars just for that. They also have the semi-zygodactylous feet, so they can do 2 toes forwards, 2 toes back, and they can also rotate their outer back toe forward, so they can have 3 toes forward, 1 toe back, which is a better foot shape for running and jumping, which is what they do up in trees. They can also switch to the 2 and 2, which is much better for climbing in a tree. And we still haven't even made it past the outside of the bird. They might have all kinds of interesting systems in their middle. They sound, in my opinion, like toy dinosaurs from the 80s, where you like pull the string and it makes the like sound. That's what they sound like.
Yeah, and then I was just going to say, I also believe that they're very important frugivore seed dispersers in rainforests.
Yeah, that's a great point. Awesome. So amazing, intriguing. They got them. Are they beautiful?
They pretty clearly are. And this is where I was going to say a gray bird can look nice. The go-away birds, even though they're just like gray, they still have this really distinctive look to them that's like, that's a very, really pretty looking gray bird.
The dark black eyes and the dark black feet really go well together with that. Yep.
Yeah, so
beautiful birds all around. Turacos, go-away birds. Very nice. Cool. Let's give them the beautiful star, and they got 3 stars out of 5. Our next bird group is the Phoenicopteriformes. Wow.
Phoenicopteriformes. Just say it fast and it's probably right.
Phoenicopteriformes. Well, you have to say it right still, but is it not phoen, like a phoenix?
Oh, it might be phoen. You're right. That's spelled like phoenix without the X. So it'd be like Phoenicopteriformes.
That's way easier to say. Let's go Phoenicopteriformes, because that sounds like a word.
Phoenicopteriformes. There we go.
So these are the phoenix-shaped birds?
Phoenix wing.
Phoenico.
Yes.
And then
so
Terry.
The phoenix-winged shaped birds.
Cool. That's like the best name out of any bird group. Phoenix wing shaped? Like, yeah. That's a cool name. There are 6 species in the Phoenicopteriformes, and they are all flamingos. There are only 6 species of flamingos, but they are distributed across large parts of the world. They use their long legs to wade in water and filter small invertebrates with their beaks. They use carotenoid pigments from their food to make vivid pink feathers. The more pigment in their food, the more pigment in their feathers. They are fairly tall birds, with the tallest being almost 5 feet tall, and the oldest known flamingo was 83 years old. Are these birds diverse?
Not particularly.
6 species, 1 type. Are they famous, though?
They're definitely in the top 10. I mean, they might even be in the top 5. I mean, it starts getting to where, like, the top 5 becomes, like, this confusing competition.
Yeah. People make plastic ones of these and put them in their yards.
Yeah, they're going to make it.
Yeah. Okay, famous birds. Are these birds amazing?
They truly are. The most amazing thing about them is they're, like, literally the toughest birds on the planet. Like, as a group, they are tough. They are tough birds. So there are flamingos that live and breed on the Soda Lakes in the East African Rift Valley, which are these super alkaline, super like toxic conditions in the under the tropical harsh beating sun of Africa. And then there's flamingos in the Andes Mountains of South America that it's so cold at night that they're standing there and the water freezes on around their legs, and they're stuck there frozen in during the night.
Wow. Flamingos. They're incredible. How do they live?
It's so insane.
Another thing that's amazing about them is their name, the phoenix wing-shaped birds, the Phoenicopteriformes. That's amazing.
They do have really weird necks. Wow, how cool.
Let's give them the amazing star. Definitely amazing. Would we give them an intriguing star, though?
It is interesting how adaptable and tough they are, being that there are literally only 6 species that inhabit such different environments. They're all similar in these weird sort of lakes they like to inhabit. but they live in such weird places. And then their most famous characteristics, how they sequester the carotenes out of their diet.
Mhm. Do you know what that is?
I do know what it is, and it's not exclusive, but it is intriguing.
Yeah, that's cool. Are these birds beautiful?
Well, who doesn't like a bright pink flamingo?
Yeah. Yeah, people put them in their yards. I think flamingos are in lots of people's list of beautiful birds.
And if you've seen like the pictures of them flying or actually seen them flying, it's kind of like the pelicans, where it's like this beautiful thing that you're seeing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, bright pink, and they have their necks stretched out ahead and their feet behind.
yeah, and a 4 stars is definitely a good. That feels right for flamingos.
Yeah, 4-star bird, wood bird again. And our last bird in this group is the... I feel like I'm in kindergarten.
Formies?
Sphenisciformes. Sphenisciformes. Awesome. I passed kindergarten.
Yay!
Yay! It's the species of penguins. There are 18 different species in this group, but they are all penguins. But penguins are very, very famous in that group.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, you got a penguin! It's even this
Giant
penguin. It's the same one. It's
it's
an emperor
full
penguin.
size emperor penguin. Yeah.
You have an emperor penguin. I chose an emperor penguin for the representative species. Penguins live only in the southern hemisphere, but they live on every continent in the southern hemisphere. Some species, like the emperor penguin, are endemic to Antarctica, while others live up at the equator in South America. All penguins are counter-shaded, white on the front and dark on the back. While swimming, this makes them camouflaged for viewers from above and below. They are excellent swimmers, with their land-based waddle turning into a fast and elegant swimming in ocean water. Are these birds diverse?
We have 18 species. There are some variations on what they do, but they're basically very strange marine birds that swim in the water and come up on land.
Some are in warm spots, some are in cold spots, but they all do the same thing no matter where they are.
Some of them have to climb cliffs. Others have to. We'll get to some of that when we get to what makes them amazing and intriguing and whatnot.
Okay, but they're not diverse, unfortunately. Famous. Would most people remember these birds?
I think they're very, very famous. I don't know if they're the most famous bird because they're so weird, but they're very famous.
They're very famous, and you mentioned that they're so different than other birds that people might forget to include them on a list of birds just because they're so different that it's like, oh no, those are penguins, not birds. But they are in fact birds, and they are in fact famous. Okay, it's famous. Give them the famous star. Are these birds amazing?
I think it is incredible how many amazing things that birds do. Especially the emperor penguin. When you think about how they move, they walk into the continent like 100 kilometers, and they're not great walkers, and then they endure the winter. It's such an overused story in wildlife filmmaking that I almost get like bored when they start talking about emperor penguins, which is like a shame because it is one of the most incredible feats of nature.
Yeah. Individually, they're doing a thing that no single human could do.
Yeah. I mean, there are the entertaining stories of like people trying to, the filmmakers, that's almost more interesting, is like, you have to film these penguins. It's like, you're stuck in this little shack all winter, and it's like awful.
Yeah.
I mean, they are truly amazing animals.
Yeah. Cool. Let's give them the amazing star. Are penguins intriguing?
It is such a distinctive lifestyle that really only one other bird has even... there's a couple groups who have tried this similar thing. Only one recently, the great auk, but have tried this whole being a proper marine animal as a bird. It is really, really intriguing how that was something that happened.
Yeah. One of the things I learned in the Birds of Prey video is that penguin tongues are just utterly bizarre looking. They have huge spikes. So the tongue is coated in spikes. It's triangular in shape, and it has barbs that point backwards towards their throat. So penguins look real cute, but if you were to like open that penguin's mouth and look inside, it's like this horrifying barbed thing.
Penguins are they're kind of nasty seabirds, but
But then they can dive down in the water and they look so elegant, and it's like, yeah, these birds are amazing. And they're intriguing too.
yeah.
Yeah. Are penguins beautiful?
I mean, they have that classic tuxedo look is famous for a reason.
Yeah,
And then
that's
you
true.
have those patches of orange and yellow on like emperor penguins and king penguins that give them this very beautiful look.
Yeah, for sure. This might be a group where you don't have any ugly looking penguins out of all of them. Humboldt penguins have kind of the bare patches on their face that are pink.
They have a really distinctive white patch. Maybe the Galapagos penguin is not ugly, but compared to every other penguin, it's like, it doesn't have really bold markings, just sort of black and white. Or not really black. It's not quite as nice. Yeah, but they're another group where I would say pretty much every member is a fine-looking bird.
Nice. They get the beautiful star for that.
And that's amazing. We have literally just talked about the genus with emperor penguins and king penguins. We have talked about literally nothing about the other members. You got rockhoppers that climb cliffs, little blue penguins, or any of that.
Yeah. Yeah, penguins are amazing. Penguins, I really thought they would have made it up into the 5-star category, but they're just not diverse enough under either of the criteria. That's unfortunate. We're going to get comments about this, like penguins are supposed to be a 5-star bird.
Your scale is clearly broken.
Right? Adjust the scale until penguins get 5 stars. I'm sorry, like, the world hired us to do this job, and that means that we have to do it as best we can. Sometimes we have to deliver bad news, like to the penguins is only a 4 stars out of 5 bird.
Yeah. But with flamingos and stuff. So
yeah, that's true.
It's good company.
Yeah, it is. So we have 5 different bird groups that have hit 5 stars at this point. We have the hummingbirds, we have the chickens, landfowl, we have the kingfishers, we have the pelicans, and we have owls. So we have 5 different groups. How are we going to break this tie when we get to the end?
We'll figure that out.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time to learn about bird diversity. With all the birds that we've talked about so far in this series, we have only covered half of the bird orders in existence. There are going to be more episodes of this coming out, so you can subscribe to know when future episodes come out. Also, you should definitely go over to Backyard Expeditions channel and subscribe there. He is doing amazing things with videography, and he's teaching about animals all the time. I'm constantly learning new stuff from him, so please go over to his channel and subscribe there. Thanks for stopping by this week to learn what makes life awesome. If you're a Patreon supporter at the $5 or above level, you could get this picture of a Turaco. Or you could just like dig it up on my social media for free, and it wouldn't have the watermark either, because I'm good at marketing.